Hello and welcome to another episode of How Animals See the World Through Their Own Eyes. In this video, we will explore how different animals perceive the world around them and how their vision differs from ours. We will also compare some pictures of the same scenes as seen by humans and animals to give you a glimpse of their unique perspectives. Let's go!
Hey everyone! Welcome to the Radiant Clues.
Animals have evolved various structures and mechanisms for sight, depending on their ecological niche and needs. They all need special cells called photoreceptors that transform light energy into electrical signals that can then be interpreted by the brain. There are two types of photoreceptors based on shape: rods and cones. Rod cells are built for contrast black versus white and contain the light-sensitive pigment rhodopsin. A cone cell will carry one of many pigments, each tuned to a specific range of wavelengths matching a color on the visible spectrum. The number and type of photoreceptors an animal has dictates which colors it can perceive. A human retina has roughly 120 million rods and 6 million cones. The cones are split into three kinds or spectral classes for trichromatic vision around red, green, and blue wavelengths. Another factor that affects how animals see is the position and shape of their eyes. Animals typically have one of two types of vision, monocular or binocular. Monocular vision means that each eye sees a different field of view, which can be combined into one large visual field. This is common in prey animals, such as deer, that need to watch out for predators from all directions. Binocular vision means that both eyes see the same field of view, which can overlap for depth perception. This is common in predators, such as lions, that need to spot and chase their prey accurately. Some animals have eyes that are adapted for specific purposes, such as seeing in low light, underwater, or in multiple directions at once. For example, geckos have excellent color vision at night, a useful advantage for a nocturnal hunter. Their eyes have evolved to be up to 350 times more sensitive to color at night than ours. Giant clams have several hundred tiny pinhole eyes along the edge of their soft bodies. They are sensitive to 3 different colors of light, but they are unable to combine the information. Instead, they see colorful but undefined images. However, their eyes are able to detect nearby movement, so that they can take action either by squirting a jet of water to startle a potential predator or by closing their shell. Jumping spiders have 4 pairs of eyes that help them hunt. When they spot potential prey, they pounce. Now that we have learned some basics about how animals see, let's take a look at some pictures of the same scenes as viewed by humans and animals. We will use models based on scientific studies and decades of research to reveal how various animals experience the world. Penguins have flatter corneas than we do, which means they rely more on their lenses to focus light. Their lenses are softer and more flexible, and can change shape more than ours. This allows them to see clearly both on land and underwater. This is how a shark would see the sharks have more rod cells than cone cells in their eyes, which means they are better at seeing contrast and movement than colors. They also have a special layer behind their retina called the tapetum lucidum, which reflects light back through the retina and enhances their vision in low light conditions. This is how a bee would see the same honeycomb. Bees have 3 types of cone cells, but they are sensitive to ultraviolet, blue, and green light. They can't see red at all, but they can see ultraviolet patterns on flowers and honeycombs that we can't. These patterns act as guides or signals for the bees to find nectar and pollen. This is how a mantis shrimp would see the same honeycomb. Mantis shrimp have an amazing 12 types of cone cells, covering a wide range of the spectrum from deep ultraviolet to far red light. They can see colors that we can't even imagine, such as ultraviolet and infrared. They can also see polarized light, which is light that vibrates in one direction. This helps them detect prey and predators that are transparent or reflective. This is how a butterfly would see the same garden. Butterflies have 12 types of cone cells, covering a broader range of the spectrum than we do. They can see colors that we can't even imagine, such as ultraviolet and infrared. This is how an owl would see the same cave. Owls have more rod cells than cone cells in their eyes, which means they are better at seeing in dim light than in bright light. They also have a special layer behind their retina called the tapetum lucidum, which reflects light back through the retina and enhances their vision in low light conditions. They can spot small prey like mice and insects even in the dark. They also have large eyes that can gather more light, but they can't move them much. Instead, they can rotate their heads up to 270 degrees to look around. This is how a seagull would see the same beach. Seagulls have 4 types of cone cells, including one that is sensitive to ultraviolet light. They can see colors that we can't, such as ultraviolet and infrared. This helps them spot food and mates on the beach. This is how a bat would see the same cave. Bats have very small eyes and poor vision, but they don't rely on their eyes to navigate. They use a special skill called echolocation, which means they emit high-pitched sounds and listen to the echoes that bounce back from objects. This way, they can create a mental map of their surroundings and avoid obstacles. This is how a mouse would see the same snake. Mice have only 2 types of cone cells, specialized for blue and green light. They can't see red or yellow colors, which makes them dichromatic. This makes the snake look less conspicuous to them. This is how a dog would see the same sunset. Dogs have only 2 types of cone cells, specialized for picking up yellow and blue to ultraviolet light. They can't distinguish between red and green colors, which makes them dichromatic. This makes the sunset look less spectacular to them. This is how a cuttlefish would see the same sunset. Cuttlefish have 3 types of cone cells, but they are sensitive to green, blue, and polarized light. They can't see red or yellow colors, but they can see patterns of light that we can't. These patterns help them communicate with each other and camouflage themselves. This is how another snake would see the same snake. Some snakes, such as pit vipers and boas, have special organs called pit organs that can detect infrared light. They use these organs to sense the body heat of their prey and predators. They can see the snake as a warm object against a cooler background. This is how a deer would see the same forest. Deer have only 2 types of cone cells, specialized for blue and yellow-green light. They can't distinguish between red and green colors, which makes them dichromatic. This helps them blend in with their environment and avoid predators. We hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new about how animals see the world through their own eyes.
Hey, thank you for watching and be sure to subscribe because more incredible content is on the way.